Live at Onigashima. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Jimmy, and today we have chapter 1148, Rhonda, with, again, Yamato's cover story. Still really don't care about it, so let's move on to the chapter.
Yeah, at least we got confirmation that, they're scabbards, right? We got the cloaks on them, which I think is pretty dope looking. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get right into it. So we start off with Rhonda's like about to walk off with this character that I now care about for some reason.
Oh my god, yeah, I know a lot of people are saying it's like, oh, I'm glad, and I mean, I kind of said it too, I'm glad we got the little kids introductions before, because it's not just like, hey, we're killing kids, it's like, hey, we know who these kids are, and with this chapter even more so, especially with how she acted. She reminds me so much of Luffy. It's like, I've always been lucky, don't worry, it'll be fine type stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, maybe when she falls, if she falls, because I mean, we can see towards the end of the chapter, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but I thought it's like, oh, if they're going to like the underworld, that's where Luffy and Zoro and them are. So what if like, well, Luffy can fly and so can Sanji. What if they just like fly up and like catch her?
Yeah. Like, that was my thought too. Like my first inclination was that like either Sanji would like fly up and get her like after Nami screams or something, or Luffy I think is better. I mean, also this girl's like a giant, right? So it's like she's like way bigger than Sanji, so maybe Luffy can like super rubber
I mean, that's
grab
true,
her.
but also I think they're strong enough to be able to carry them.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think Luffy would definitely be the ideal one to do it.
For sure.
I mean, I don't know if she's necessarily gonna fall because of, I mean, just to skip to the end real quick.
Oh yeah.
Like, Gabon just kind of comes in and starts fucking things up.
Yo,
like,
Scopper Gaban, let's go. I mean, we knew he was coming, right? Like we knew he was gonna get him, but like, whoo.
Well, I mean, the most interesting thing that I think everyone's going to be talking about is what did he do to cut off Summers' arms and not let it regenerate?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it has to be related to some type of hockey, but then you have to imagine, like, Luffy must have been using hockey on the Gorosei when he fought them too, right? So why is this all of a sudden working? Is it like a special type of hockey? I think
it's like something like that. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, so like a few arcs ago, right, with Katakuri, we learned about the next step to observation hockey, which was future sight. So it's like advanced observation hockey. And like we only sort of got something along the lines of advanced armament, because we got advanced conquerors in the last arc.
Right.
We didn't really get an advanced armament technique.
We got Rio.
So I wonder if this... Yeah, but that was like a different application to armament, not necessarily like an advanced version.
Yeah, it's weird because that's what people call it that.
Yeah, people are calling it that, but I think it was just like, because I mean we saw that in pre-time skip, right? Like the Kuja pirates were using Rio basically by like putting it onto their weapons and stuff. We saw it with Sentomaru, but I feel like this is something new completely. Like it's the next step to armament hockey in some way.
It's got to be. I mean, we don't know exactly what it is. I think it's going to be some sort of hockey thing. Like this very, very strongly, and a lot of people pointed it out, that it very strongly is very like similar to the whole Rayleigh versus Kizaru thing, because the pre-time skip, the big bad was Logia's, that we couldn't hit them, right? These guys, they regenerate, so you can't damage them. It was like the same thing, but now instead of Rayleigh, it's Scopper. So it's like you got that two sides of the same coin thing going on, and this will be the point in the story where they learn, or at least Luffy learns how to like hit them. But I would hope that it's not just I hope it's not just Conqueror's hockey personally, because like armament would be cool, because I feel like more people would get that. I don't like the fact that like if it's all just like Conquerors and like only Luffy will be able to do it. I don't really like that. I kind of want, like, I would love if Robin would be able to do what she did in this chapter, but actually do some damage, and it not just be like the top tiers, you know what I mean? Like they could all learn this.
Yeah, I was really hoping, like, I mean, Robin was awesome in this chapter either way.
Yeah.
And you could, like, Summer's even commented, like, oh, you're always thinking one step ahead, like, her plans are smart. It's just not quite enough. And I feel like we've said this for a while, and with a lot of other characters too, it's like, they look like they do a lot, but nothing is really like lasting unless it's one of the big three. And I agree. I wish all of them would get some type of like upgrade. I mean, I think Robin already has some sort of armament hockey. I know people don't agree with that, but her Demonio Fleur form is, to me, like when she's like black like that, is some type of armament like coating. without necessarily like saying it outright. I think that's going to be one of those moments later where people go back to it and it was like, oh, this was her first instance of hotkey.
I would
Kind of like how Zoro and Alabasta.
I'm kind of on the other side of it. Like, I think like there was so much awakening talk in that part of Wano that like I think that's more of like an awakening thing, or maybe it's just something that Robin didn't pull out until that point. Because really none of the or a lot of the Straw Hats, besides Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy, were even getting upgrades until. I mean, they haven't since like the time skip. You know what I mean? Like we haven't really seen them go all out. Like that was Robin's like first fight, pretty much like her first real fight in like the entire post time skip. So I think that this is a great time because we're focusing on Straw Hats now for everybody to get kind of more of a power up. And I think armament hockey could be like a great thing for Robin to have. Maybe she already has it, but it could be like an advanced application, like you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the only other person who's gotten an upgrade has been Nami with Zeus, really.
Right.
And that's not technically like her getting stronger, it's her acquiring new powers.
Yeah.
Which, granted, is kind of how her fighting style's always been. But I would love to see, like you said, just all of them start getting upgrades. And maybe that's just headcanon, because looking above, watching them all just trapped by the arrows.
They have. I mean, they can't just like keep on getting folded, right? Like, if Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are the only ones that get upgrades here, like, what are they gonna do in the final war against all these people? Like, dude, Robin, I'm gonna give Robin her flowers. We've been saying this whole arc, like, what the hell? Yeah, we're gonna like. Robin has been like hiding this whole arc, and we're like, what are you doing, Robin? Like, you would be perfect. And she was like, I can't anymore. I gotta do this. And she did the thing that she did on Spin. Like, she clutched that guy, dude. Like, he should be dead, I think. And but obviously, like, you know, same thing with how Usopp hit Gunko. Like, she should be dead, I guess. But these guys just regenerate. So like I think like Robin did like a really like this was a really good showing for Robin in my opinion, but like obviously it just like didn't matter because of the regeneration. But if she had the thing to get regeneration, it's like, okay, that automatically puts her on like Holy Knight level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean the other part about this was also like what I mentioned a few weeks ago, where if they can regenerate, I mean, now we know the counter, there is some type of counter to it.
Yeah.
But before, what I was saying is, oh, they need to be able to like restrain them in some way, which is exactly what Robin thought of. It's like, hey, look, I might not be able to hurt you, but if I get you far enough away, then like your powers aren't going to work, or you're not going to be able to do what you need to do. Which, I mean, sad that it didn't work, because I do think that was a good idea.
Good plan.
But I mean, it just shows like there are multiple ways to defeat them without necessarily killing them. But now we also have ways of killing them somehow. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so funny. I want to go back to the Summers thing real quick, because he clearly knew. He knows Scopper Gaban, right? He says it. He's like, "Oh my god, it's got like, dude, that reaction, bro. Very valid reaction
Bro
to
was
have.
scared shitless.
Very valid. Like, very different from like how Kizaru acted. I mean, Kizaru's a very like laid back dude, but he was like, "Oh, really?" And he kind of just like 1v1. Like, I don't think that kind of tells me too that the God's Knights are not on the level of Admirals, which I like personally. I would prefer if the Admirals like kind of stayed a tier above. But
I agree. I think they just have hacks, which makes them more annoying to deal with. But I don't think power-wise they're on that level.
Yeah, I agree. And like this made me think like that since they know each other already. One thing that a lot of people have been speculating is like, what if they fought on God Valley? Because you know, like Summers is very old. It seems like, and Scopper's very old. They were both they could have both been there on God Valley. Like, we know that Holy Knights were there. We know that Scopper was there.
That's
so
true.
this could be like a rematch sort of thing. And it seems like Scopper probably beat him there. And at that point, then the Roger Pirates maybe already knew how to defeat like this regeneration ability, and therefore like, I don't know, like that was before even that they like went on the big One Piece journey. You know what I mean? Like, they knew some of the secrets of the world way before they even like saw all the poneglyphs and all that.
What that makes me think, because I didn't think about that you're probably right. They might have fought on God Valley, and they probably at that time didn't know about the regenerating powers. But through their fight, they probably learned how to do it. So I wonder if we get some type of like mini God Valley flashback where we start seeing that and it starts giving like hints of how Scopper Gaban figured out how to like damage these people. And then I wonder if we see that same parallel with like Luffy or Zoro or Sanji or something.
Yeah, it almost
I feel like that would be really cool.
Yeah, it almost makes me think that like, because the God Valley flashback is so tied to rocks, is that like maybe they saw him do it, and then Roger was like, no way, like that's cool, let me try this. And like, you know how Luffy always like learns something from his enemies in his
He
fights,
like mimics them.
yeah, and he mimics them, like Katakuri, I think he did it with like Rob Lucci and stuff like that, Kaido. It might be a similar parallel where like Roger did that in the past, right, like with rocks. And so it could be like a cool stepping stone just to see that in the flashback. I do think we're getting the flashback.
I mean, does that make Elbaf then the new God Valley incident? Like, are we about to have the Elbaf incident? Because I mean, one of the big things they're trying to do here is like basically wipe Elbaf off the map. They want to like conquer all the giants, take their power, and basically, like, I mean, they were giving them ultimatums here. It's like, hey, look, burn everything. We don't want this anymore. They're hiding history, which is what I assume what was happening at God Valley and stuff too.
Could be.
So I wonder if here we get our God Valley flashback, and if that's the case, does Blackbeard interfere at some point in order to, like, I don't know. He's super into history too. He would want all this stuff in the library.
He could.
So he could have a purpose for coming here. I just don't know how he would know about all of this.
Yeah, personally, like, I'm leaning more towards Blackbeard. You know, he's doing other plans, like, you know, they're watching the Revolutionary Army. They now know about Pluton, so I think they're going to Wano personally, and I think that they might show up in this Yamato flashback at some point, hopefully. But it does beg the question, like, where do we go from here? Because, like, is Scopper just gonna like beat the Gods Knights here, or is it just gonna be one and the rest get away? And then at that point, like, what is the Elbaf arc about? You know, like, are we just gonna defeat? Like end the conflict here? Like, is Summers gonna die? He lost an arm. He got slashed.
Yeah,
like, really bad.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I was kind of assuming that Summers was the strongest out of the three that are here. So if he can make this guy shit his pants, like, do you even need the big three with Luffy, Zoro, Sanji?
Right.
And if this is the case, and then we have a way to damage them, I feel like there has to be more coming. It was kind of like on Egghead too, right? We saw Kizaru, we were like, oh, Kizaru's the big bad, but look, Luffy's like folding him. And then what do you know? 5 elders show up, and it's like way worse than it was.
Yeah. But that's more of like a Saboti parallel-ish, right? Like, I don't know.
But still, I feel like that's what I'm like. I mean, we don't necessarily need to go to that level, but we also need, like, I think just somebody stronger than like one of our side characters defeating them, right? Like Luffy needs to.
No, for sure, but I do think it could also be that it like diffuses the situation, and they're like, all right, forget this, let's get out of here and come back, like regroup. We can teleport, right? Like they can get out of there, like probably no problem. And then that gives the opportunity for Scopper to teach the Straw Hats like what this is. Because like Luffy's not here. Why? Like none of the big three like just saw this, right? It was like the other people in the crew, and like I don't know, not to downplay them. Like I'm sure maybe they could be like, oh my god, like they did that, let's study it. But like nobody is really like how Luffy is, and like maybe Zoro with like learning abilities just like through watching combat. So it kind of tells me and that, you know, Scopper is gonna like directly tell them at some point, or like teach them in some way. Some people are thinking that this is going to be like the setup for another time skippy thing, and we're going to go back to the whole like Louis Arnaud thing at the beginning of the arc where they're like, oh, don't stay here too long, but then maybe they end up staying here too long because of their like training or something, and then something else happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I know we talked about that at the beginning when we saw that quote, is like, oh, what if a bunch of stuff happens here, and then because of that the outside world kind of goes into turmoil. But I feel like we're not going to be able to tell until, like, I don't know, at least 10 chapters, because I don't feel like this like has an ending anytime soon. Like, to me, like, we're like maybe like a third of the way through the conflict of this arc.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't think it's going to be like the longest, but I don't see it being a short arc either.
I think it'll depend on like what happens in the next like 2 or 3 chapters, because like I said, like it could just this whole thing could just be diffused right now because Scopper's here, and they're like, we don't want to deal with Scopper, and then they leave. Like that's kind of what happened with Rayleigh, right? I mean, to an extent. I mean, Kuma swooped in and kind of sent them away, and it ended up defeating.
Yeah, I don't see it being that easy. I don't know what's gonna come, but I just don't see it being that easy, because it never is. It's never that easy.
It's true. I don't know if it's gonna get to the point of like Egghead levels right now, but it might. I don't know.
No,
like
I don't know
Ragnarok is still like a big thing that's supposed to happen. They keep talking about this war. It's just like when things are gonna happen that we're kind of you know, we're kept in suspense in Oda fashion.
I mean, to me, the big tell that this arc is not ending anytime soon is there hasn't been a big flashback yet, and in every arc there's always a flashback.
And we already got like some hints at a flashback with like the Loki rocks stuff.
Exactly. So once we get that, that's how we know the arc is going to start coming to an end, at least in my opinion.
Well, you know,
maybe not like start, but you know, like halfway through or something.
You know what else is telling me that this arc isn't ending right now?
Say it.
No break next week, thank God.
Oh yeah, we were wrong last week though.
Yeah.
We said no break because it didn't say it on the chapter.
Say it, dude.
We forgot about Golden Week.
Oh man, no, dude. How are we to know? I mean, I guess we could know, but you know, whatever. So
that's all right. We got One Piece now. That's all that matters.
All right. Well,
don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your theories in the comments about how they're able to damage Summers, because I'm very interested in what people have to say about this.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it could be anything. So yeah, well let's hear some theories down below. Until next time, peace.